From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Center.
We're a day away from the NFL draft, and it could be a very active day tomorrow for Houston Texans General Manager Nick Caserio. As Diana Rossini of The Athletic reports, Houston, which holds the 25th overall pick, has been active ahead of tomorrow's first round, making calls to potentially move up. Caserio has actually made 13 trade-ups in the draft, most amongst GMs since becoming the Texans GM in 2022.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge. What's up, Danger?
Can't stop me now! Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me, however you may be joining me, whether that's on 94.1 on your FM dial. If you happen to be listening online at sasportstar.com via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you're watching on YouTube, that's right, we stream all of our shows live on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, go ahead and search SA Sports Star. Like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show like Albert Lopez has, or feel free to call in 210-656-ESPN 656-3776. And man, my favorite day on the calendar is here. I'm a huge draft person. I love going to the draft. Wanted to go to Green Bay this week because, you know, chance to see Lambeau Field, et cetera, but because of the amount of people that the draft brings out, it made lodging in Green Bay, even the day the draft was announced, very hard to come by. Closest thing you could get was like an hour away. And at that point, I was like, I'm not going to go to Green Bay and have the fun that I have at the draft, because it is a spectacle. It is an event, and there is a lot of fun to be had there. I wasn't going to do that. So maybe next year in Pittsburgh when it rolls back around. Already circled that. So we'll see where we're at. But right now, all 32 teams hold their own first round pick. And it's the first time in a while that we've had each team holding their own pick. But it doesn't mean, like you heard in my Sports Center update, that there won't be movement up and down the board from a bunch of different teams. As a matter of fact, earlier this morning on the Morning Huddle, AJ and Rob were talking about potential draft day movement.
After fielding all the phone calls and the offers, teams looking to trade up, and they gave them all their fair consideration, including the New York Giants apparently had interest in trading up from 3. Joe Shane and Borgonzi were spotted in Palm Beach talking.
Oh, man, the bros.
Yeah. Can you imagine? One of them's like, hey, man, like, what if, you know, we gave you the 3rd pick and, like, I don't know, like an 8 ball of Coke
And some half zips. I'll give you half zip. I'll give you my 2 best half zips. 8 ball of Coke.
But it says the Titans have looked at everything and decided we are staying at number 1. We've come to a consensus. The entire organization, we've decided to stay with the pick. So everyone is on board, and there you have it.
Well, if you're going to do this, all right, Titans. If you've turned down all offers, now with 35 hours and 55 minutes and 20 seconds, I want, when we go to Tennessee Titans, you're on the clock. I want you right then.
Yeah.
If you have made up your mind, and don't make us wait 15 minutes to find some filler. You better step up and make that pick.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
I want to see that too. Like, okay, draft started.
If you're that serious,
let's put the Browns on the clock.
If you're like, we know who it is, there's no debate. We are 100% in. All right, prove it to me by your action. Step up and make that pick 1 second after you got on the clock. Be ready.
Well, and now with that settled, So the Titans say, don't bother. We're staying. Who do you think the next in line to get calls is?
I think the next team.
The Cleveland Browns at number 2 and the Giants at 3 are fielding trade inquiries for their picks now. And the Browns and the Giants have been receiving these phone calls, and neither team is outwardly rejecting the idea of trading down in the draft. So the Giants, who look like maybe they wanted to trade up to number 1, now that that's off the board, they're like, well, might as well look at trading down. A lot of teams looking to trade up are maybe looking at Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. There's more, and man, this is wild. There's more and more scuttlebutt that teams could be looking to trade up to get Ashton Genty in the top 5.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. The NFL, like every professional league, is a follow the leader kind of league. And it's, hey, the Eagles ran clearance. They opened the door for a stud running back, and fans won't be mad if you overpay for a disposable position now. We all like it. And me, of all people, I'm in. I'm one of those bandwagon types. I want a running back. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Cowboys suddenly go, you know what, if we can jump up to 3 and they're taking calls.
Maybe. Although, I mean, imagine the Cowboys and the Giants doing a draft day trade. Well, I can't.
3 was a bad number.
Yeah.
I can see Cleveland. They've dealt before. I mean, they have with Amari. So.
Oh, my God. If the Cowboys traded up to number 2 and took a running back.
I would be both overjoyed and
you would know it was
I would
wrong.
be overjoyed and outraged all at the same time.
You would be like,
it would be like if my kid brought home a stripper. I'd be overjoyed and angry all at the same time.
I think the fan in you would be excited, but like the logical human, you'd be like, oh my God, this is a disaster.
Well done, son, but my God.
Are you sure about this?
Thanks, Jerry, but my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. But this is, first of all 32 teams still have their first round pick. Not one first round pick has been moved, and this is the closest to the start of the draft without any
good interior offensive linemen in the draft, like a Tate Ratledge or something like that, in the later rounds, second, third rounds, collecting extra picks, recouping the 4th that you don't have. Cowboys could.
Well, in every state, American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee you, if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-885-4884. 800-885-4884. 800-885-4884.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
What's up, baseball fans? It's time to swing big on your bets this season. Step up to the plate with an odds boost token from BetMGM an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. No opt-in is required. Just log into your BetMGM account to receive your odds boost token. Then place a bet on any MLB game and activate your token. If your boosted bet hits, you'll score a bigger payout, no matter the showdown. BetMGM is your betting home for baseball. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body?
Huh?
That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Tragically, recent data reveals that 40% of women in Texas will experience intimate partner violence. Christie's Hope is dedicated to breaking the cycle of domestic violence by providing shelter, healing, and counseling, and empowering survivors to take their first steps towards lasting safety and independence. Thomas J. Henry stands with us in our commitment to end domestic violence. Donate today at christieshope.org.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. If you happen to be watching live on YouTube at SA Sports Star, like, subscribe, comment along. Appreciate all of y'all for riding through tonight. We're one sleep away from the NFL draft and the future of these organizations starting to be set, and the subterfuge that goes on with the NFL draft. Probably one of my favorite things about it, because you had I remember 2 years ago when I was in Kansas City, Texans take CJ Stroud, and there was a lot of chatter. They really love Will Anderson. They could just pass on quarterback altogether if their guy's not there. And a lot of talk about their guy being Bryce Young and how much they like CJ Stroud. They ended up taking Stroud at 2. I lost my mind. I had to be told, hey, you're on the clock again, which let me know they were indeed trading up to get Will Anderson Jr. at the time, setting the pillars for what was the quick and efficient rebuild of the franchise by Nick Caserio, which tells me, anything can happen for any team on a day like today. You can change the fortunes of a franchise. The Kansas City Chiefs picking late in the first round. Alex Smith is their quarterback. We're just in the AFC title game. Take Patrick Mahomes. Trade up to 10 to take Patrick Mahomes. So a lot can happen, and it can energize a fan base and gives you hope for the future moving forward for all of these franchises, all 32, whether it's Travis Hunter and his ability to play both sides of the ball, Abdul Carter potentially being the next Micah Parsons and great pass rusher in the NFL, even if they're not. Like, to think that some people think Kayvon Thibodeau, who was taken, I think, 6th or 8th overall by the New York Giants, is a bust. He's a double-digit sack guy. It's not a bust. He's a good player. He's not a Hall of Famer probably yet, but his story is also far from over in the NFL. So we write things off a little quickly. We also get very hyperbolic in our evaluations of things. We think things at the beginning, those things change as we gain more information. And then false information is put out to push people up and down draft boards by narratives. And the most recent one came out, and this wouldn't shock me by any stretch of the imagination. But earlier today on the Blitz, Jason and Joe were talking about a potential surprise for the Dallas Cowboys as they are sitting at 12, and all we've heard about is running back and wide receiver, running back and wide receiver. Well, what if they don't happen to go that way?
So Peter Schrager from ESPN now does his one and only mock draft. And Schrager, when he was at the NFL Network, would do this. And his mock draft isn't what he thinks teams are going to do. He puts his mock draft together based on things that he is hearing from his sources from around the league. So with that, Cam Ward 1, blah, 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 blah. You get down to number 12 in the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama.
Interesting. And I don't know why that would surprise me, although they keep saying they want offensive weapons, especially a number 2 wide receiver on the other side of CD Lamb. But apparently this guy's pretty good and could possibly take the spot vacated by Zach Martin.
Now, that's Schrager saying a guard from Alabama. One of Joe's favorite people on planet Earth from NBC, Chris Collinsworth, his mock draft today, his one and only mock draft, because he's part owner of Pro Football Focus, has the Dallas Cowboys at number 12, taking tackle Will Campbell, LSU.
That's the guy who, isn't that what Collinsworth does?
Uh-huh.
That's the guy.
What
Now, here's
Collinsworth
the guy.
says, quote, I still had Will Campbell on the board here and feel like that's a little too far for him to fall. I think if you're Jerry Jones and you see the Eagles win the Super Bowl with a great offensive line, you'd think you'd want to get some of that.
Well, Will Campbell has been mocked to the Patriots at 4 in every draft I've seen, including Schrager's.
Well, again, if Will Campbell's on the board, I agree. It would be hard to pass that guy up. Because, and then, you got Banks, you got the Simmons kid from Ohio State, if you're going offensive line. I don't know that I'd be mad at offensive line, but that's not what I want. Dak Prescott needs more weapons. And when you look at a legit wide receiver 2, and you could go McMillan with his size, or you can go Golden with his speed. And it seems like Schottenheimer wants speed. And one little nugget, just to kind of circle, and keep in mind when the Cowboys are on the clock tomorrow, that interview that McMillan did where he talked about not loving football and not watching film. And again, snippet of an interview, full context, who knows, right? But he said that. Those were words coming out of his mouth. And then you think about something Will McClay said the other day during the pre-draft press conference about wanting guys that love football. I'd be shocked if McMillan is the guy.
I tell you what, I guess, again, I think he's the best wide receiver in the draft. And so you pass him up because of that. I think he's going to learn to love football.
Can you teach love?
I don't know, but I still believe he's the best wide receiver in the draft. And so if you want to go with that, and I mean, I'm just looking at Schrager's deal. He's got him going number 19 to Tampa Bay. Can you imagine pairing McMillan with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin?
Well, and again, your bridge at the end of Evans' career is there. But again, if McMillan is falling down to 19 and Schrager going with what he is hearing, does that tell you a lot of teams are a little scared off by his comments of not loving football?
Well, you could say the same thing then about Golden, because he's got him falling to 23.
Yeah. I mean, it's the wide receiver need now, because the Cowboys are looking for a wide receiver 2, not a wide receiver 1. You could see them saying that helping the offensive line is more important because we have a wide receiver one, but they've proven recently, Jalen Tolbert, that getting a wide receiver two, getting the Alvin Harper to Michael Irvin is not quite as easy as it certainly seems. And I'll just go back to the quote from Will McClay. Quote, what we have to find out is how much they love football. At the end of the day, if you love it, you will do whatever it takes to maximize your ability. We have to go through a number of steps to find that. And maybe he's kind of saying we've gone through all the steps with McMillan, and he does love football, despite what you might have heard. But if they don't take him, or if they do take him, I'm coming right back to this quote. And when McMillan is on with us on Friday, we're going to ask him about his love of football, because whoever the Cowboys pick on Thursday night, that player will be on the blitz on Friday afternoon. At least that's the plan right now. Stuff happens because, he's got to get on a private jet from Green Bay, go to Dallas, do, the
press conference,
the show, and then we get him on. Trying to think the last time we didn't have a draft pick on.
Well, since I've been here, we've always had it. So.
Well, the last one that we missed out on was Zeke. Rob and I were at Valley Ranch doing the show, but his plane was late because of storms in the area. So we got Zeke, but not live. Plan is whoever the Cowboys take is going to be on the blitz on Friday afternoon.
They like linemen named Tyler. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Right? They really do. Look, and I'm just curious, I'm sure this guy is great. And it's not a sexy pick by any stretch of the imagination. So I just wonder how Cowboy fan is going to feel if they end up drafting Tyler Booker or another offensive lineman, which I don't think is a bad move, quite frankly. I mean, that is a need. You've got a Hall of Famer that is leaving, so you kind of want to fill that spot. So it's not a bad move, but it's certainly not what we've been thinking for the last, 2 weeks or so, seeing other mock drafts that have the Cowboys taking either Golden or McMillan. So it's certainly not sexy. So we'll see what happens.
But, and again, depending on who's available, I don't know. I mean, I want a wide receiver in the first round. I wouldn't be mad at an offensive lineman, but I think I'd much rather go tackle than guard at number 12. I don't know that we're looking at another Zach Martin there. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know that I'm looking at another Zach Martin. I think the bigger need is weapons for Dak Prescott than another offensive lineman.
Well, I agree with you. The problem is the Cowboys have a stockpile of wide receivers. So you draft another one, you keep them all?
No.
I mean, seriously.
Some of those guys could leave and we wouldn't know they were gone.
Well, that's exactly true. But, they just gave up a 4th-round draft pick for one in the name of Jonathan Mingo.
I already forgot about him.
Exactly. So I just don't know. I could see them taking an offensive lineman there. I'd even be disappointed if they did that, because both of your wide receivers that have been mentioned, according to Schrager's mock, and I don't give a damn about Collinsworth, but according to Schrager's mock, they're both still available at 12.
Yep.
When the Cowboys come up and they pass on both and go with the fat guy.
And if I go with Schrager's mock, I don't know that I'd be surprised at all if the Cowboys traded back a little bit, because the Cowboys like to do that, and maybe get one of those guys a little bit later on. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't get a receiver there at 12, I'd be surprised if they stayed there unless they just couldn't find a trade partner. So you look at it and you go, I don't know. I mean, it's been wide receiver, and then you go, all right, Tyler Booker. Now this was Tyler talking at the Combine in Indianapolis.
There's legal assault out there, and I love football because the brand of football that I play, I make guys not love football anymore, and I do that every day, every down, by really just giving them my all and letting them know I'm not going to let up. So the thing I love the most about football is taking the love away from other people.
Nice.
Again, you hear that. Will McClay's going to love that. Jerry probably couldn't stand up after that meeting. I mean, you just hear that, and that's Jerry talking about a war daddy, right?
Yeah.
You want that nasty, especially with your offensive line.
And you do. And look, Peter Schrager is as plugged in as anybody. He's got the Indianapolis Colts moving up to number 9, or what is it, 10, I guess, or moving back. What am I looking at here?
You tell me.
Either way, it's a trade, and so you're talking about the Cowboys moving back. That's an opportunity, according to him. And there's some others in here as well with
I will say,
I just don't.
Schrager's mock doesn't look like every other's mock, and he's got Ashton Jeanty going to Boise State, which has become kind of
he's already at Boise
he's
State.
going to Jacksonville at number 5.
Look, I hear that from Tyler Booker, and as a Texans fan, I want that. I want that culture. I mean, hearing those words out of an offensive lineman's mouth and what he represents, it is everything you want in a football player.
There's legal assault out there, and I love football because the brand of football that I play, I make guys not love football anymore, and I do that every down by really just giving them my all and letting them know I'm not going to let up. So the thing I love the most about football is taking the love away from other people.
The thing I love most about football is taking that love away from other people. That's incredible. And you talk about a guy that, and everybody's talking about culture around the Cowboys right now. You lost some culture, both with Tyron Smith last year and now Zach Martin this year, and both retired this year. So you've got to kind of rebuild it. Or could it be a Kelvin Banks, guy at Texas, who could start inside at guard and kick out to tackle if you need to move away from, say, a Terrence Steele? But Terrence Steele, last night at the softball home run derby, he talked about his expectations for 2025.
I expect a very high level of play from the jump. I've been grinding like no other this offseason. I just want to be great. I just want to be great for me, for the team, for my family. So I'm hungry. I'm hungry to go out there and prove the world wrong. So.
And remember, the Cowboys have a lot of draft picks. They can use those picks, whether they're this year or future years, not only on players in the draft, but bringing people in. Pickens, George Pickens is available. Jamison Williams available from Detroit. You look at Jalen Ramsey if you want to shore up cornerback and potentially have a succession plan from Trayvon Diggs when his contract next year is able to get out from under. One of the best players in the draft that I think is going a lot lower than he probably should is Jahdae Barron out of Texas. You could get him this year and have that succession plan. Tyler Lockett is still a free agent who has ties with Brian Schottenheimer. There's a lot of different ways for the Cowboys to go. And Steven was right. What they did in free agency and what they can still do in free agency. Stephon Gilmore's out there. Like, they can fix a lot of things still to go any which direction they so choose in the NFL draft. And that is one of the beautiful things about the NFL draft. Now, one thing we still don't know about when it comes to the Cowboys is Micah Parsons and how close they are to a deal. Although it sounds like Micah Parsons may have actually set a deadline. We'll talk about it next, right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
George gets justice. In an instant, a careless driver turns your life upside down. You're hurt, the bills pile up, and work stops. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, your consultation is free. No fees, no pressure, just real help. Justice starts with one call. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Wilco, live in concert. Sweet and Sour Spring 2025. VSB May 6th. With special guest, Waxahachie. Wilco. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit wilcoworld.net.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Spring is here, and in South Texas, that means storms, wind, rain, and hail. If you've been hit by a storm or think you have damage, now is the time to contact Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994. Don't put your trust in an out-of-town storm chaser. Stevens Roofing is a family-owned, locally based company who will be here for years to come. The team at Stevens Roofing and Solar will give you peace of mind when the storms come rolling in. Call 210-785-0994 for Stevens Roofing.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
I'm AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6, your early morning wake-up call on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. You can follow me on X, Instagram, TikTok, all that great stuff. I am Pledger. You can follow the station at SA Sports Star. The Micah thing has turned into what we all expected it to turn into at this point, to where now we're just waiting on why. Why is the deal not done? What is taking so long? Well, Micah may be wondering the same thing because the Blitz at a charities event, Micah was talking and he may have tipped his hand on setting a deadline on Jerry and them.
Micah Parsons said a lot last night. In a lot of ways, I take this as Micah Parsons has set a deadline for Jerry to get a contract done.
I mean, extremely important. I mean, you really see a lot of players struggle when, guys aren't participating in camp and they're getting off to slow starts. I don't want to get off to no slow start. I want to hit the ground running and establish ourselves in this league and get some wins early in the season and be in rhythm. You know what I mean? It's going to be extremely important for me to get going and lead these guys.
That tells you all you need to know. He does not want to miss training camp.
But he will.
But he will if a deal is not done. And at this point in time, you have to, don't you? I mean, you have to. If you're Micah Parsons, you can't show up for training camp, or you show up and you don't do anything. But I think he sends a bigger message if it just no shows.
He does, and he understands how it works. I find it interesting that yesterday during the Cowboys pre-draft press conference, both Jerry and Steven gave a couple of examples of players that held out and still had great years. They talked about when Zach Martin did it. Great year, and guys from other teams. They didn't mention, CD did, and he kind of sucked early. It took him a while to get going.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that Micah talked about, he learns through repetition. He can only learn so much on the field. So he wants to be at camp. He also knows that as a leader of this team, he needs to be there, but he needs to be there with money. He even got into the new locker room culture and kind of his little back and forth with D-Law.
Man, for me, it's all about setting the tone about what the locker room is, man. We ain't going to put up with nothing. We ain't going to tolerate the dumb stuff that was going on. Like I said, it's a new regime, new culture. I'm not saying that, other guys weren't culture builders, but, some things are just tired. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if something ain't working, it's good that you got new guys to fix it. I'm just happy that, me, CD, Dak, and, Dak kind of been through 2 generations, but, just a new regime. Like, guys going to get closer, we're going to relate, It's just kind of hard, like, when you got a bunch of guys that are here and they're older. You know what I mean? They're more your highest paid players, and it's hard to get that relationship. But now we've all came in together, established this relationship. We're all around the same age, and we all hang out way more. So, like you saw us working out together. That's not something that I've seen or been a part of here in the past unless you went to OTAs. So just things like that, meeting up, working out together, boxing together, things like that, things that we're going to start building camaraderie.
Building camaraderie. And so I guess you said all the old guys are gone.
Yeah.
D-Law's out now, so the old timers are gone. It's a new crew. And what he's saying is right about that. And not to mention the fact, going back to training camp, you got a brand new defensive coordinator that you've got to learn from. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of changes made on that defensive side of the football. So you'd like to be there. And look, Jerry and Steven know that too. But it's business. So what are you going to do?
It is business. And Micah, just listening to him talk last night and the different things that we've heard him say recently, especially after D-Law, it's his locker room now, especially on that defensive side. And he does know what he needs to learn, which is why even though he doesn't have a new deal, he did show up on day one of the voluntary workouts.
Obviously, everyone got their perspective, but, just talking to Shotty and telling me, the importance how it is to come and be there and, what he's trying to prove and show to the team. I just thought it was important, one, for me and my relationship with our new head coach, to understand where he's coming from and help him in any way I can to, go on this run. So that's to show, Shotty showed up to my event. Shotty's been around and trying to build relationships. So I feel like we're at the point where, if he asks him for me to come in for a couple of days to, first important for the leadership aspect and be around the guys and show face, and, that's something I'm willing to do for my coach and, anybody,
Well, that's all nice. That's great. And he was there, and that's good. We'll see how many more OTAs, voluntary ones, he shows up for. I'll be surprised. At the same time, we're going to have the same conversation we had last year about CeeDee Lamb. Micah Parsons is under contract. He is under contract.
He is.
So he can miss training camp, but I don't think he's going to miss any games.
He's not.
So he's under contract. So what is Jerry going to do? Are you going to pull that out and say, look, here's your contract. You're under it. Show up and do your job. Or does Jerry just wait, make us wait? We talk about it all summer. Training camp starts. We're still talking about it. When's Micah going to show up? And then all of a sudden, Jerry caves and Micah gets paid $5 bazillion.
And that's what he's going to get. The reality is, when you look at just yesterday's press conference alone, right? Jerry essentially said, we don't need to adjust. We know where the years, the guarantees, the number is there, right? I mean, Jerry made it seem like, yeah, they're pretty close. Then you have Stephen Jones yesterday saying, they might not be as close as we all think they are. Stephen Jones yesterday and talking about the contract, that they were far apart on the numbers. And so who do you believe in that situation? What you heard from Stephen or what you heard from Jerry Jones? That's kind of the interesting part.
I just think it inherently comes with the territory. I mean, you look around the league, and most of these players who are getting these very top contracts, it does take time to ultimately get there. And believe me, if we could sign Micah to a number we wanted to sign him to, we'd do it right now. But right now, there's a difference in what we feel like is the right number and what he feels like is the right number.
And does that surprise anybody? Of course it doesn't. The Cowboys want to sign him to a team-friendlier deal. Micah wants what he wants. And you know, you can't really blame either side in this whole thing. So then you got to decide what to do. I heard Adam Schefter today on ESPN talking about Micah Parsons. And he said, his words were, the Cowboys are not shopping Micah Parsons.
They're not, and they won't. But, you know, Micah, remember, back in December, made those statements, you know, I don't necessarily have to be the highest paid guy. Well, a couple of guys got paid and his tone changed.
For me, it's all about, you know, before, you know, Miles and Jamar is challenging because you don't need to be there, right? This market set at 35, and then you kind of, you know, it kind of backfires, you know, because you look at the market and you see Miles go, they're like, all right, I mean, Max goes and gets 35 and a half, 36. And then you see guys that are older than you, and you can say that, you know, your production and versatility matches what they're doing, and you say, why, you know, I would say I'm more in my prime than a lot of these other guys, you know, they're more in the second half of their career. So that's the challenging part, man, just getting fully about what you're worth. I don't really think it's about the dollar. I think about how someone thinks you, it's all about how much someone thinks you're worth, you know what I mean?
It is. And if you would have said that earlier, probably a lot better. But a lot of Cowboy fans expecting you, maybe hometown discount. We all knew that wasn't going to be the case, especially with your agent being David Mulligetta. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star. What say you? You think Micah's getting a deal before training camp, or does this once again drag out into the season? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. We'll put a bow on the show and talk about some of these playoff games and series as we continue right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's going to audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow, that is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes. So it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text TRUST to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text TRUST to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text TRUST to 200-300. That's TRUST to 200-300. TRUST to 200-300.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
They say all good things come to those who wait, but not for those who wait for that next auto breakdown that could cost you thousands of dollars. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance Auto Protection Plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-282-6709. That's 800-282-6709. 800-282-6709.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. I appreciate y'all rolling along with me tonight as we take you up to 7 o'clock. And then we're just 24 short hours away from the NFL draft. And it's going to be a wild time because the NFL draft is so wildly unpredictable, yet we love these predictions, these mock drafts, these things that we can eat up, and we can complain about it all we want, but we can't stop consuming it because we want to know what's great for our team. I wanted Bryce Young. I wanted him over CJ Stroud. Am I happy with the situation that the Texans are in? Absolutely. Because we can be wrong about things and it's okay to admit your mistakes. And teams are going to make mistakes because the draft is an imperfect science. So remember that as we close in on this. And just because it's not the guy you initially wanted at first, it doesn't mean that can't be a great pick. So give your teams the benefit of the doubt for the most part. There was a time where people looked at it and the Houston Texans trading up to 3 to get Will Anderson. They said it was a massive overpay by Houston to Arizona. Nobody's saying that anymore. Production dictates what's a overpay and what is not. You overpaid for Trey Lance. And then the Cowboys overpaid for Trey Lance with the 4th. because it didn't work out. And you ended up wasting a 4th round pick. And there is value in 4th round picks. Look at Dak Prescott. Look across the league. Look at Tyler Lockett. Like 4th round picks are very valuable. And now you're looking at a Jonathan Mingo. Because you have a 6'4" receiver like Mingo, that doesn't mean you address the position. Keep taking swings. Take the best player available according to your player, your Travis Frederick, massive letdown for Cowboy fans. Turned out to be one of the best centers in the last 2 decades. And everybody's missing him. Not so much anymore. I think Cooper Beebe is going to do a great job. And I think Brian Schottenheimer and this Clayton Adams and this staff is going to do a great job. I think they're going to be built through their offensive line. I think it's going to be important to them. And it wouldn't shock me if the Cowboys went offensive line and brought in some more competition at that spot, whether it's guard, whether it's tackle, because it all starts up front. And you've got Miles Sanders and you've got Javonte Williams. And hopefully in the second round, you take someone like a Quinshon Judkins, or maybe a Caleb Johnson, or maybe a Travion Henderson if he's still there when the Cowboys pick. And then you've got the future along with these 2 one-year deals. And I think Javonte Williams could be a great addition for the Dallas Cowboys this year. And you can lean on that run game. And leaning on the run game and play action pass could make some of these receivers look a little better as well. Or maybe you get a Higgins in the second round if you don't go receiver in the first, or Kyle Williams. It's wide open, and we don't know who players are until we've seen them in the league. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Appreciate your draft eve. Have a good sleep, and I hope everybody ends up with a future Pro Bowler tomorrow. This has been Extra Innings with Pledger. Check on your people. You never know what people are going through in life, so just give them a quick, hey, how you doing? And it could change their whole perspective. This has been Extra Innings with Pledger. We will see you next week. Don't forget the Blitz live tomorrow from the Root Pub, 2 to 6. Prep for the draft right there with Jason and Joe. And, of course, kick off your morning with AJ and Joe, who's pulling double duty on the Morning Huddle from 6 to 10 right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM.
John, what do you think about these tariffs? What do you think is going to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The prices on used cars have suddenly come up because the cost has gone up. And at GiveMeTheVin.com, we're paying more. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com, put in your license plate, and see for yourself. We're paying more today than we were yesterday. Remember, the tariffs have raised the car prices, and we are paying extra. GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer. Sell us your car.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com.